The psychologist Erik Erikson postulated that the human being begins to develop a sense of competency-based identity as early as age 5. This means that when a 5-year-old is playing or coloring, she is already determining that if she's good at it, society and people will appreciate her, will value her, and will award her. This also means that at age 5, a child is already determining whether she is intelligent or not. Hi everybody, my name is Anarghya Vardhana, a very proud graduate of this fine institution, and I'm very happy to be here with you today. People have told me that I am intelligent. And I too, like the 5-year-old I talked about, determine intelligent or not. I felt like I was pretty mediocre at sports. I was grossly unfashionable. And I didn't really have a sense of popular culture. So being smart became my thing. And I was pretty darn good at it. I did math competitions, science competitions, speech and debate. You name it, I did it, and I won it. So early on, my identity was associated with being a woman, with being Indian, and with being intelligent. These three things defined me really early on in my life. And so when I left Jesuit high school in 2006, as decorated as the varsity athletes in my class, I realized that the place to go to take my intelligence to the next level was Stanford University. And so I headed down south to Stanford and entered at 17 years old in my fall quarter. At age 17, I took my first midterm at Stanford. This was in Math 51 linear algebra. I still remember this midterm today. I got the paper back, and on the top there was a 46 circled. No, it was not 46 out of 50, it was 46 out of 100. I was crushed. Here I was, smart, intelligent, defining myself within the constraints of being intelligent, and I had failed a test. Not only had I failed a test, I had failed a math test, and I was supposed to be good at math. I was 17 and I was crushed. One of the identifiers as a part of me had been ripped away instantaneously. I went from being Indian, girl, intelligent, to being Indian and girl. I didn't know what to do with myself. You see, telling someone that they are intelligent is one of the best gifts you can bestow upon them. You are smart. Tell a child this and he will do better on a test. Tell an adult this and she will do better in an interview. I was that child and I am that adult. You see, it's because intelligence is a label that we give and ferociously take away because of failure, because of one small misstep. And as labels are, we are very, very uncomfortable without them. Think about how you would define me without the labels of woman and Indian. It's pretty hard. We use labels in our society to determine who anyone is, and it tells them how to be, how to speak, what to say, what not to say, how to behave. And it is limiting, it is confining, and intelligent was just one of those labels put on me, both by myself and by the society that was around me. And the truly scary thing about these labels is that if we deviate from them, it is devastating. Not just to the individual that deviates, but to the society that has manufactured the person that stands before you here today. So what did I do? 17, not sure who I was, failing math tests, at Stanford. I decided that I had to come up with a new identity. I was still Indian and I was still a girl, so those stuck. But the new thing that I wanted to be was hardworking. I decided I am going to work my way through Stanford. I may not be smart enough to be here, but I am sure enough hardworking. So I worked really, really hard. I worked my butt off, and I graduated from Stanford with honors. Now, the interesting thing is that many students are going to go from the top of their class in high school and go to a very competitive university and struggle. That's not surprising. What is really surprising to me is that that insecurity, that loss of self-identity has stuck with me for 10 years. I'm here before you today, 27 years old, and it still plagues me today. That is how powerful that label was, and that is how difficult it was to have that taken away from me. It is a complicated relationship that I continue to have. After Stanford, I went on to work at Google. It is quite difficult to get a job at Google. And I still felt like I got the job because I was hardworking. After Google, I went on to work on 2 startups, also in Silicon Valley. The concept of not being intelligent continued to stalk me there as well. And then after those 2 startups, I came to do what I do now, which is be a venture capitalist, a very competitive and in many times highly coveted industry. And the concept of not being intelligent continues to come and go, as does the imposter syndrome. So as I was asked to talk today, I thought, what can I talk about that means a lot to me and that may be relevant to this audience? And it was this notion of intelligence. So I set out on a path to understand intelligence, to understand how it affected me and those around me. So I surveyed a group of my close acquaintances, friends, and other people in my community. I asked them, what do you think of if I tell you that someone is intelligent? I got a couple cool words back: curious, hardworking, genius, clever, even something like brave. But what was really interesting is that the words that kept reoccurring, the theme of these survey results, was actually words like educated, successful, praised, awarded, gets good grades, does well at work. These were all superficial things that society saw. Oh yeah, that person's praised. Oh, that person has a degree from such and such school. But this is what our society sees when I ask them, what does intelligent mean? So I looked at that. I thought, well, I'm pretty well educated. I have been awarded. I have the accolades to show that I'm intelligent. But why do I still feel insecure in owning that title? I realized that our view of intelligence is narrow. It is not multifaceted. We see intelligence as one thing and everything else as not intelligent, not smart. And interestingly enough, our understanding of intelligence continues to vary and morph over time. 150 years ago, if you wanted to go to Harvard University, you had to take a test, and you had to know Hebrew, Latin, and Greek. If you were not proficient in these languages, if you were not skilled at learning languages, if you were dyslexic, you were not intelligent enough to attend Harvard. Now fast forward to today. The intelligence, the skills, the definition of intelligence that we value has dramatically changed. Today we value science, mathematics, and more specifically computer science. And that is because the world around us has seen immense value and economic growth, overnight billionaires in the fields of computer science. And so our assignment to intelligence has shifted to those things. So digging deeper, I realized that intelligence is also a function of time based on the set of knowledge in that time. So let's consider our dear friend Copernicus. Copernicus said, the Earth is actually not the center of the universe. And people said, Copernicus, you idiot. You're so dumb. Why would you even think that? Because during his time, they did not realize that the Earth was not, in fact, the center of the universe. So Copernicus was deemed unintelligent. And this continues to happen because our view of intelligence is so narrow. Now, as I continue to explore my own relationship with intelligence, I wanted to understand, what is the dictionary definition? What does the dictionary say intelligence is? And the dictionary definition of intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. So let me say that again. The ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. I actually think that that is a fantastic definition. So consider the artist. The artist is acquiring knowledge and skills, and she is applying that knowledge and skills to create a beautiful painting. Yet in our society, we do not consider an artist intelligent. We do not attribute the characteristic of intelligence to the artist. What about the DJ? The DJ is taking all of these sounds and mixing them together to create fantastic, beautiful music. Do we call DJs intelligent? Clearly, our view of intelligence is so narrow and so defined by the societal constraints and expectations. I realized that as I thought about this and as I came to terms with my own sense of intelligence, what I really needed to do was to come back to my roots, come back here to Jesuit high school. You see, one of the values that a Jesuit high school student must have at graduation is to be intellectually competent. I love that. It doesn't say she must be smart. It does not say she must get good grades. It does not say she has to go to the best college. It doesn't even say she has to go to college. It says she must be intellectually competent. And if you look at that definition and look at the other subheadings below that, you'll see a really multifaceted view of intelligence. We say that the student must be collaborative, must be moral and ethical in her intelligence, must be curious, must explore concepts that are interesting to her, not mathematical or scientific concepts, just concepts. That could be in the arts, that could be in the science, that could be in English, history, whatever, you name it. That is what intellectual competence means. And when I dug into that, I felt proud to have been from this institution and felt like I wish I had realized that maybe 10 years ago. But it is a work in progress for me, and I hope that it continues to be a work in progress for all of you, and especially for the students here who are grappling with their own sense of intelligence and achievement. I also realized that I can go into my own job, my own career, to understand the true sense of intelligence. As a venture capitalist at Maveron, it is my job to find really amazing startups, to evaluate them, dig into them, to invest in them, and then to help them grow. In the process of evaluating them, I am determining whether or not this company is going to be a huge success. And I look very specifically at the founders, or the founder of the company, the person building the company. And one of the main things we are going to evaluate is this person smart enough to build this company? Is this person intelligent? And in that exploration of intelligence, I realized that it's really easy to look at the surface, really easy to look at the pedigree. Did they go to Stanford, Harvard, MIT? Did they work at Apple, Google, Facebook? Who do they know? What is the superficial, high-level thing that I can glimpse at and determine whether they're intelligent? That is not the right way to do it. And I'm very grateful that I work with colleagues and other people in the industry who look much, much, much beyond that. How that is to address the other layers of intelligence. How does this person deal with conflict? How do they make decisions? Do they do the right thing when it's really hard to do the right thing? Do they have moral intelligence? Can they inspire, motivate, and hire a team to rally behind them and to build an amazing company? Do they have interpersonal intelligence? And as I explored my own career and the generosity I offer to these founders, I realized I owed that to myself and to everyone else around me. People have a very multivaried expression of their intelligence. It could be artistic, it could be emotional, it could be mathematical, whatever it is. And realizing that was very liberating for me. As we think about the early years, the formative and transformative years, elementary school, middle school, high school, the concept of intelligence is quite binary. You get good grades or you don't. You're smart or you're not. I encourage myself and all of you to think beyond that. There are going to be students who don't get into the perfect university, who don't win that competition, who don't have one opportunity, and they are going to be crushed just as I was. As a community, as thought leaders, as people in this world, we can be there for them, telling them that intelligence isn't defined by these few little things. You have intelligence in many, many other facets, and I encourage you to go seize it, go live it, find that passion, and go pursue it. So today, I commit to myself to explore this multivaried concept of intelligence, to give myself that chance. And I commit to all of you and to those who are not here to give them that same exploration of intelligence. I hope that all of you will do that as well. Thank you.